Good morning, children. This is Shweta ma'am here. I hope that everybody is staying at your home and keeping well. So regarding your study materials, if you are having any problem, please let me know. I will try to solve your queries definitely. So today let's start with our online lessons. We know that the permanent tissues, it is of three types, right? So what are those? Simple permanent tissues, complex permanent tissues and productive permanent tissues. In the previous class, we have learnt about the simple permanent tissues such as parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. So today in this class, we will learn about the complex permanent tissues such as xylem and phloem and the productive permanent tissues. So first let's start with the complex permanent tissues, or which are also referred to as the conducting tissues. The complex tissue consists of more than one type of cells having a common origin, and these cells ultimately perform a common function. And this conducting tissue, they are also called vascular tissue. Why? Because it provides a passage for water and dissolved materials to move up and down in the plant. So the transportation of the water and minerals are being done with the help of these tissues. So this complex permanent tissues, it is of two types, which is referred to as xylem or wood and phloem or bast. So two types are present. So we'll move on to the details of this xylem and phloem. Firstly, coming to xylem. The characteristics. Xylem is vascular and mechanical tissue. We have read about the vascular part. Why? Because it is conducting different materials through the plant, right? And it is a mechanical tissue which is helping in the support. The xylem is composed of four different types. What are those? Tracheids or vessels or trachea, xylem parenchyma and xylem sclerenchyma, which are referred to as the xylem fibers. In this diagram, you can see the first one is a tracheid, the second one is a trachea or the vessel, third one is a xylem parenchyma, and the fourth one is the xylem fiber. So, except xylem parenchyma, all other elements are dead and bounded by thick lignified walls. So, except this parenchyma, xylem parenchyma, the other three, they are all dead cells and they are consisting of lignin, which is helping in the strength and rigidity of the tissue. Tracheids and vessels, they are tubular in nature, right? So, these tracheids and vessels which are being present, these two, they are tubular, as you can see, tube-like structures. So what is the function? The main function of xylem is to carry water and mineral salts upward from the root to different parts of the shoots, and hence they are also called the water conducting tissue. So the main function of the xylem is to carry water upward to the different parts of the plant, right? So they are referred to as a water conducting tissue. And since the walls of the tracheids, vessels and sclerenchyma of xylem are lignified, they are also mechanical, providing mechanical strength to the body. As I mentioned in the characteristic, mechanical strength means it is providing rigidity and strength to the plant body, and hence the support mechanism is taking place. Thirdly, the parenchyma stores food and helps in the sideway conduction of water. So the xylem parenchyma which is being present, you can see in this diagram, it is helping in the storage of different materials. So altogether, these four types are being consisting of the xylem. What are these four types? Tracheid, trachea, xylem parenchyma and xylem fiber. Out of these four, what is that? Except the xylem parenchyma, the other three, they are dead in nature and they consist of the lignin, which is providing the mechanical support to the plant. Next, we will move on to the next type of complex permanent tissue, that is phloem. So firstly, coming to the characteristics, this phloem, it is a bast. We have mentioned this. It is a living conducting tissue. It is also contains tubes just like xylem but do not perform mechanical function. In the previous xylem part, we have seen that the mechanical support and the mechanical function is being present, but to be very specific, this phloem does not perform any mechanical function. And this phloem is also consisting of four elements. What are those? Sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fiber. You can see over here the sieve tubes, the companion cells, phloem parenchyma is present and phloem fiber is also being present. We will see one by one. The sieve tubes, they are slender tube-like structures and with perforated walls. So the sieve tubes which are being present, they are slender, that means thin in nature, and they have perforated walls. You can see over here, if you can see that the perforations or some holes or pores you can see are being present. The companion cells are the living parenchymatous cells or lying on the sides of the sieve tubes. So coming to the companion cells, the sidewise cells which are being present in reference to the sieve tubes, these are the companion cells. You know the meaning of companion? Companion means friend. So this companion cell is helping this sieve tube to perform its activity. Next is the sieve tube and the companion cells have close cytoplasmic connection with each other through fine pits. Pits means the pole-like structures which are present. So the sieve tubes and companion cells, they are in close association with each other. And the phloem fibers which are being present, they are thick-walled fibers with simple pits. That means simple pores are being present. Okay. Next one. The phloem parenchymas, they are thin-walled living cell of parenchyma of phloem. So these are again like that of xylem. These are the living parenchymatous cells. Next, coming to the functions, the phloem, it transports, that means conducts the photosynthetically prepared food materials from the leaves to the storage organs. That means what previously we have seen in xylem, it is transporting the water mainly, right? But in case of phloem, it is transporting the food materials from the leaves to the storage organs and latter from the storage organs to the growing regions of the plant body. Why? Because the plant needs to grow. That's why. So the food materials are being transported through phloem and the water are being transported through xylem. So these two tissues, these complex permanent tissues, hence are also referred to as the conducting tissues, as it is carrying or transporting out both water as well as food materials from the water from the roots to different plants and food materials from the leaves to the other storage organs. So I hope this part is clear to everybody. So we'll move on to the next type of permanent tissue, that is protective tissue. The protective tissue, that is the part of the plant tissue system with thick walls. So this is one of the important criteria. It has thick wall in nature. So for two types are present. What are those? Epidermic and cork. So first type of tissue, epidermis. The characteristics, it is the outermost protective layer of plant organs. The outer layer, the epidermis, is usually present of a single layer of cells. If you have seen in the diagram before, the lower epidermis and upper epidermis, there is only one layer is present in the upper part and at the lower part. So it is a single layer of cells. Thirdly, the cells of epidermis are elongated and flattened without intercellular space. Normally, we see that in parenchymatous cells, it is consisting of intercellular spaces. But in case of this epidermis cells, they are lying one by one side to each other, which is flattened and elongated and without an intercellular space. So they are the living cells, but the inner contents are similar to parenchymatous cells, even though the intercellular spaces are not being present, but the inner contents are very much similar to that of the parenchymatous cells. In leaves, what happens? The epidermis bears small pores called stomata. So now, what is the function of this stomata? This stomata helps in the transportation of gases such as oxygen and carbon dioxide. In some plants living in very dry habitats, the epidermis may be thicker since the protection against the water loss is critical. So the water loss should also be taken into consideration. Now we'll move on to the functions of epidermis. The functions of epidermis is a protection of plant from injury and infection. So both injury and infection, it is being protected with the help of epidermis. Secondly, the cuticle of epidermis also helps to reduce water loss by evaporation to prevent desiccation. I was just now telling about the water loss. So this water loss, it is also being taking place, also being prevented by the help of the cuticle of epidermis. Now what is this cuticle? Cuticle is a waxy coating on the epidermal layers. So it is helping in the prevention of the water loss and thereby the desiccation is also being prevented. Desiccation means loss of water. The stomata which are being present, it allows the gaseous exchange during the process of photosynthesis and respiration. We have told that this in the leaves, the epidermal layers, it consists of the stomata. So the stomata helps in the gaseous exchange of during the process of photosynthesis and respiration, and also facilitates in the process of transportation. The second type of protective permanent tissue is cork or phloem. Now what is that? The cork cells are the dead cells without having any intercellular spaces. Previously in the epidermis we have read that these are the living cells without intercellular spaces, whereas the cork cells, they are dead but again without intercellular spaces. Where they are present, they appear at the periphery of the roots and stems when they grow older and increase in girth. So increase in the girth is taking place. Girth means the width of the plant. They also have a chemical called suberin in their walls that makes them impervious to gases and water. So chemical referred to as suberin is being present in this cork, which is helping in the imperviance of the gases and water. That means no gases and water can enter through that. So what is the function? The function of the cork in plant is to provide protection. Obviously from the name protective permanent tissue, it is providing protection. It protects plants from the different external injuries and also infection. It also prevents desiccation, that means water loss. It is helping in the process of preventing water loss. And since the cork does not catch fire easily, it is also used for insulation and shock absorption. It is also used for making sports goods such as shuttlecock, table tennis paddles and cricket balls. So these are again important because of this cork cells which is being present. So in this chapter what we have learned? We have learned that the complex permanent tissues, two types of presence, xylem and phloem. Xylem is a water conducting tissue and phloem is the food material conducting tissue. In case of xylem, what happens? The water, it is being conducted from the roots to the different parts of the plants. And in case of phloem, the food materials are prepared in the leaves with the process of photosynthesis and it is being moved to the storage organs, which ultimately are moving to the growing parts of the plant. And the next, the protective permanent tissues, two types of present, epidermis and cork. Epidermis is a living ones which is present in the outermost parts and is of single layer of cells and without any intercellular space. It is obviously providing protection to the plant and it is helping to prevent desiccation. The stomata which are being present in the epidermal layers, it is helping in the allowance of gaseous exchange during photosynthesis and respiration and also helps in the process of transpiration. Whereas the cork cells which are being present, these are the dead cells and does not have any intercellular spaces also. It is helping in the increase of the girth or the width of the plant. And this chemical, special chemical called suberin is being present, which is helping in what? Which is helping that makes the plant impervious to gases and water. And as because this cork does not catch fire easily, it is used for insulation as well as shock absorption and is also used for making some sports materials which are being present. So I hope that you have understood about the different plant tissues you have read till now. Previous class we have read about the simple permanent tissues and in this class we have completed the other two types of plant tissues, that is the complex permanent tissues and the protective permanent tissues. Thank you so much.